Bristol Community College, Mathematics with Dan Avedikian, Math 011, Arithmetic, Section 2.10, Problem 23. This is Section 2.10, Problem 23. We have 2.5 plus 7.5 divided by 3/5. And the point of this type of a problem is that you have two mathematical operations. You have to decide which one will occur first. There's an addition with a plus and a division. So the answer is the division must be done first. So let me leave the 2.5 for just a minute. It'll stay out in front. And for the next step, I want to do 7.5 divided by 3/5. So if you remember, when you divide fractions, what I'm going to do is flip or invert the second fraction, make it a 5/3, and multiply times the 7/2. But when I multiply fractions, I want to multiply top times top, bottom times bottom. I have to have just the top and bottom, or numerator and denominator, for the 7.5. So as I come down to the next step in this problem, the next line, I'll leave the plus. This 7.5 can be rewritten as 15/2, and I get that by multiplying the denominator times the number in front. 2 times 7 is 14. Take that result of 14 and add to the numerator. 14 plus 1 more is 15. So the 7/2 can be written as 15/2. And I'll just leave divided by 3/5 for one step. So the first thing I did is I changed the 7.5 to an improper fraction, a fraction with a larger numerator than denominator, so that I can finish off that division. And again, the division must be done before the addition. Now, to complete my division, what I'm going to do, I'll leave the 2.5 in front of the problem for one more step. The 15/2 can stay, but the 3/5 gets inverted to 5/3, and that division changes to a multiplication. So you invert the second fraction, and it becomes a multiplication. Now I have to do the multiplication before the addition still. So 2.5 plus, I'm going to have 15 times 5 on the top and 2 times 3 in the denominator. So I can reduce some of this first. The 3 and the 15 reduce nicely. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So in the numerator, I have 5 times 5, which is 25. And in the denominator, 2 times 1, which is 2. So I have 2.5 plus 25 over 2. So I could make them both mixed numbers like the 2.5, or I could go both improper fractions, which might be a little bit easier. Let me do this. 2 times 2, the denominator times number in front. I'll multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. Take the result I get and add to the numerator. 4 plus 1 more is 5. So I'll have 5/2 plus 25/2, and I already have a common denominator of 2. So now with my common denominator, 5 plus 25 is 30, and it's over a denominator of 2, and that can be reduced. 30 over 2 reduces very nicely to 15. So the final answer is 15, a whole number.